Hi everybody, it's a beautiful day here in Michigan. Blue skies, sunshine. Oh man, makes you glad you didn't die during the night or you would have missed it. So today I want to talk about what we use up here when we're trolling for walleye fish using planer boards, line counter reels, and crankbaits. But before I get to that, I do want to do a shout out. If you guys get a chance, go check out Chippo Fishing. Link will be down below in the description. Another great channel that does crappie fishing, and just go check it out if you would for me, please. I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Look at that little fish. That's cute. What are you gonna do with that?
Mount it.
Bait.
Yeah, we'll use it for bait.
Another wall mount. Erie gold.
You're gonna have to get it.
So let's say that you have a spot that you want to go try. Maybe it's a waypoint, maybe it's some place that somebody has told you has got a lot of walleye. So you head out to that waypoint, that spot, and you look on your graph to determine where the walleye are suspended in the water column. And let's just say for today's example that you find that those walleye are suspended at 16 feet. Walleye are an upfeeder, so you're going to need to present your bait in the water column above 16 feet. Let's just say you're going to put it at 15 to start out with. The first thing that you need to do is you look on a chart. Maybe you've got the Troller's Bible, or you've got a precision trolling app. I know on the phone that I'm recording with, I have the precision trolling app that's got all the data for all the different lures that they've tested. And on that chart, it will tell you that they use 10-pound test. I know that you can use other lines. It's just I'm not familiar with like lead core and how that all works. So for me, I've just got my rod and reel with a line counter reel spooled up with 10-pound test. You will put your bait, whichever one you want to use, and you'll notice that I have 2 of everything. There's a couple reasons for that. Number one, if you lose one that's really working, well, you got a backup. And number 2, if you find that they're really biting on something, well, you got 2 of them out there instead of just 1. Most all the crankbaits that I have at least 2 of. Sometimes I'll have 3 or 4. Sometimes I forget what I have and I buy extras. My daughter-in-law says I'm a tackle hoarder. She might be right. So getting back to this line counter reel, it's spooled up, well, it's actually calibrated so that as you let out a certain amount of line, it will show up on this window on your reel. So getting back to the precision trolling app, you're going to find, I'm just going to use the example that for a Flicker Shad 7, well, that one stuck me. For a Flicker Shad 7 to be at 15 feet, let's say you got to let out 65 feet of line. So you hook your bait onto your swivel, you tap the button so it's reset back to 0, put the line in the water, and you let out 65 feet. When your line counter says 65, you stop, you put on a planing board. Planer board, planing board, it's all the same. I use offshore. A lot of the friends that I fish with use offshore. There's others. It's just this is what we use. The offshore planer board has got a tattle flag system. And supposedly, when you get a bite, it drops down. Noisy road out there today. Now, sometimes it's a hard hit, sometimes it's very subtle, sometimes the board just will ride a little bit different in the water. At any rate, you need to keep track, you need to keep your eye on your boards to see what they're doing. So after you've got the board clipped on, you hook it on the back clip, which in this case, it's a red one that's got a peg in it. You hook the line behind the peg, you give a little bit of a loop for that paddle flag to work. You don't want that line tight between this clip and this clip. And then the front clip, you simply hook it in the clip, put it in the water, and then after it's in the water, you again start letting out line. And the reason you let out line after you've got the planer board in the water is you want a stagger system. You want the farthest board out, I'm going to say 100 feet. Maybe you want it further. And then the next line you put in, same thing, line counter reel, trolling rod, hook on a different colored bait. And then instead of being at 65 feet, let's say you want to see if maybe them fish are wanting to come up a little bit higher. Let out 60 foot of line, clip on your planer board. This time let out 80 feet after the planer board is on. That way it's starting your stagger system. The third one, another bait, come up a little bit higher. Let's go 50 feet. Hook on your planer board, then let out 60 feet of line. Now you've got 3 planer boards staggered out on both sides of your boat. And then we'll also take a crawler harness with a bottom bouncer and drop it out to the back of the boat right on the bottom. That we'll talk about on another segment. So that's the system that we use. Trolling rod, line counter reel, planer boards, and an assortment of different crankbaits. Berkeley flicker minnows, Berkeley flicker shads, Rapala deep down husky jerks is what I have the most of, and you know, they work. I've got others that that I've never caught anything on, and I know it's got to be just me because those Hot-n-Tots that everybody catches them on, I call them not so hot. I've never caught a fish on them. It's probably just me. So I think I've covered everything on how we troll for walleye up here. This is just how we do it. There's other people that do it other ways. And I hope that if you have any questions, you'll put them in the comment section. I'd be happy to answer them if I can. And with that, I want to thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch my tutorial on how we troll for walleye. And until next time, thank you for watching, and God bless you. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, folks, and you too will be hauling ash.